I want to talk to you about something you probably don't say out loud very often, but I know you've thought about it. It's that quiet, heavy question people like us carry somewhere in the back of the mind, the one that creeps in at the most unexpected moments. Where do our pets go after they die? And before you think I'm about to talk religion or spirits or anything too dramatic, let me stop you. That's not what this is. I'm talking about the version of the question that's purely human. The version that slips out in a whisper when you're alone in the house and everything feels a little too still. The version you ask when you catch yourself walking toward a room expecting to see them and then remembering you won't. That version of the question, soft, honest, painful, real. And if you've ever loved a dog or a cat like they were a part of you, I know you've asked it too, even if only in your head. The truth is, people who've never had a real connection with an animal won't understand why this question matters. They think losing a pet is like losing an object, like misplacing something you used for a while. But if you're here listening, if you've made it this far, I already know you're not that kind of person. You're the kind who noticed how your pet followed you from room to room without needing anything except to be near you. The kind who felt a warm body curling against you on nights you didn't admit you were struggling. The kind who learned that sometimes the only living being who understood your mood without you saying a word wasn't human. And when that kind of bond disappears, your heart doesn't wrap it up and file it away. It lingers, it echoes, and eventually that simple question shows up. Where are they now? I used to wonder about it quietly the same way I imagine you do, not because I needed a mystical answer, but because love doesn't disappear just because a heartbeat does. And missing something that real brings up its own kind of curiosity. One day, I watched a movie called Heavenly Ever After. I didn't expect much from it, honestly, but something in it hit me in a way I didn't expect. In the film, people meet their pets again, but not as animals. They meet them as small human-like figures, with the same familiar eyes, the same warmth in their expression, the same softness in the way they look at their owners. And something about that felt strangely closer to real life than any fantasy I've ever heard. Because think about it. If you ever met someone with the exact same eyes as your dog, the same spark, the same way of looking at you like they're your whole world, wouldn't you know instantly? Wouldn't your heart recognize them before your brain even tried to understand? That thought sat with me for a long time, because it made me realize something important. Recognition doesn't need logic. Recognition is emotional. It's instinctual, just like the bond you had with your pet. So what if in some version of the universe, literal or metaphorical or psychological, you do meet them again, but not in the form you expect? What if they show up as someone who feels strangely familiar? Or what if they never return physically at all, but stay with you in a way that's quieter, more subtle, but still very real? You know that habit you still have where you open the door a certain way because that's how you used to open it when they'd run toward you? Or the moment you sit on the couch and accidentally leave the same empty space where they used to curl up? Or how sometimes, without thinking, you almost say their name out loud when you talk to yourself? That's not superstition, that's not imagination, that's not weakness. That's evidence. Evidence that some relationships don't end, they just change shape. And maybe that's one of the ways pets stay with us after they die, by becoming part of our routines, part of our thoughts, part of our emotional reflexes, part of the person we eventually become. You don't realize it at first, but you start treating the next animal in your life differently, more gently, more patiently because of the one you lost. You notice your heart softens in places where it used to be tense. You start recognizing emotional signals from other animals because your pet taught you how to read them. You become the kind of person who knows how to sit quietly next to another living being without needing words. And when people say they're gone, they don't understand that parts of your pet stayed behind, in you, through you, because of you. Sometimes I think about how animals don't worry about the future the way we do. They don't sit around imagining worst-case scenarios. They don't hold grudges. They don't analyze things to death. They love in the present, fully, entirely, without hesitation. And when they die, we are the ones left holding all the leftover love that had nowhere else to go. That leftover love becomes memory, then routine, then instinct, then identity. And over time, that love becomes part of your emotional structure, the part that makes you kinder than you used to be, the part that makes you more patient with the world, the part that makes you understand loyalty and unconditional love in a way you didn't understand before. So that's why I don't believe pets simply disappear. I think they transition into memory, into influence, into the small, everyday ways we live. And if there is something beyond this life, I have a feeling they're there. Not lost, not suffering, not confused, just waiting in the same way they used to wait by the door when they heard your footsteps. Can you imagine that? The same excitement, the same gentle joy, the same look of "you're back" written all over their face, or whatever form they might take. And maybe they don't even need to be animals anymore. Maybe the universe gives them a shape that lets them meet you halfway. Something that lets them speak the things they never could. Something that lets them say, "I never blamed you," or "I knew you loved me," or "I missed you too," or simply, "I'm still here." It doesn't matter whether it's literal or symbolic. What matters is the idea that love doesn't end just because life does. What matters is that the connection you had with your pet wasn't accidental. It wasn't random. It wasn't replaceable. And if something has shaped you that deeply, why would it vanish into nothing? Why wouldn't it find a way to stay? I think that's why people like us feel our pets in very specific moments. When we're sad, when we're lonely, when something really good happens and we wish they could see it, when we're tired and we sit in a way that reminds us of how they used to lean against us, or when we see a random dog on the street whose expression hits us a little too hard. These are not hallucinations. These are emotional echoes, traces, proof that they mattered, proof that they changed us, proof that we loved something enough for its absence to leave a shape behind. So when you ask where your pet goes after they die, here's my honest answer. I don't know the location, I don't know the map, I don't know the coordinates, but I know they go somewhere love goes. And love doesn't vanish. Love becomes part of you, part of your memories, part of your personality, part of the softness you didn't have before. And maybe, if there is any kind of heaven at all, they're there too, sitting, waiting, happy, knowing you'll recognize them the second you see their eyes again, no matter what form they show up in. And when that moment comes, whether in a dream, a memory, a different lifetime, or some kind of afterlife, I think they'll say something simple, something that fits exactly who they were. Something like, "I knew you'd come back. I never stopped waiting."